Welcome to Members Only, a show centered around CMAC members and the projects they produce. My name is Johnny Piscina, and I'll be your host for today. In this edition of Members Only, we'll be talking to Byron Diel, the producer of Phoenix and Phriends, and Yvonne Schwemmer and Nuria Ibars, the co-founders of the CMAC Voices member group. First up is Byron Diel, the producer of Phoenix and Phriends.
Where's Phoenix? There he is! Phoenix and Phriends, Phoenix and Phriends, fun never ends on Phoenix and Phriends. From space he descends, setting the trends. Spots that he blends on Phoenix and Phriends. Rules that he bends, magic he sends. Earth he defends on Phoenix and Phriends. Phoenix and Phriends, Phoenix and Phriends, fun never ends on Phoenix and Phriends. Buzzers.
To welcome our guest, Byron. Byron, that was an excellent opening video montage of what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, working here at CMAC, I kind of have a good idea of what's going on there. But why don't you tell the audience what your project is and what your video is about?
All right. Well, Phoenix and Phriends is an epic science fiction children's adventure show. We try to bring some edutainment to the table. Nice. We do some things about music, some science-y fun facts, and some martial arts stuff, among other things.
Cool.
But we present all that within the context of a plot, wherein Phoenix is this kind of super baby from the future, a planet called Bazugulon. And
nice.
He comes and assists me, or rather I assist him, in battling our arch enemies, the Smoke Brothers. And typically they will be trying to destroy the environment in some way or another.
Gotcha.
Although in episode 1, it is actually the Hubble telescope that they are attacking. So, and I should probably back up a bit and mention the fact that Phoenix is my son, my now 18-month-old baby.
Wow.
And he is actually the star of the show. So I'm mostly the man behind the curtain, although I do play Sub-Commander Dada, his sidekick.
Yes. Awesome. I love it. I love the concept, and I love the costumes too, and the props and everything. Pretty much all that entails. So, how long did it take you to come up with the concept of it all? Was it like just something you've a long held desired, and CMAC was the opportunity for it, or how was it for you?
I started brainstorming. The idea sort of came to me, I'd say around December of 2014.
Okay.
3 months or so after Phoenix was born, and the idea continued to gestate and evolve over the next few months, and put in my proposal to CMAC around June of last year, and started filming shortly thereafter, and it's been a kind of a long, drawn-out, epic adventure, just bringing it to this point, but I'm happy to say that I will, at long last, hopefully be done editing episode 1 tonight.
Wow.
Yes, I have all the scenes individually are edited. I just need to slap them together in the right order and put the credits together, and it should be ready to roll.
Excellent. So. Well, I think you're a prime example of just determination of getting a project done through CMAC, because what I hear typically from members too is that they don't have a lot of time, right? They have an idea, they've been wanting to do a video for a long time, they've never had the resources, they've never had any means to create their ideas, maybe with the exception of their phone, or smartphone's a big thing now. But the fact that, and I can imagine that you're probably a very busy person, 18th month old there.
Indeed.
And a full-time dad,
I
right?
work full-time as a paramedic. I'm still doing some school stuff.
There you go. So you're fully booked, huh?
Yeah. It's been crazy.
But what I wanted to mention, though, is that you were able to accomplish this and get that done. So, I always like to plug that for members and everyone out there. You can still get something like this done. And how long is the finished product going to be, would you say?
It's going to be a 29-minute. I'm trying to keep it exactly to that, so I've had to trim a few things to fit it into that time slot. But I would just like to really encourage any of the viewers who aren't familiar with CMAC and any of the folks that are crew here today that even if you don't know the first thing, because my membership had lain dormant for a couple of years,
right?
and I was incredibly rusty on the very minimal skills that I ever had to begin with. And if you just throw yourself into it, you will learn as you go.
Yeah, and even if it is a frenzy of things, right? You just dive right in, you know? I mean, you don't. I think that's kind of the situation too. I don't know for you, but for me, starting off in video, you're so timid because you want to make it just right, just perfect the first time. But hey, it's okay if it's not the first time, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, just jump right in, have fun with it, get involved. CMAC is a nourishing environment. Staff's been helpful. So
the staff has been incredible from the very beginning.
Well,
Caesar in particular, from the very beginning when I really, really didn't know what I was doing, he kind of took me under his wing, and I got the ball rolling. And then you, Johnny, have been great. Bestina has helped me with the teleprompter like every week because I always seem to struggle with it.
Something's going
on.
And
it's been really good. Terry, you know, the whole gang.
The whole gang, yeah. Well, it's kind of the mantra we've always had, and we may have mentioned it on prior episodes for members only, but Murphy lives here. There's always something, you know, some variables that will go wrong. You think you have everything stacked up and ready to go, and that just goes toppling over at one point.
Right.
But we're here to encourage you to keep it going, keep entertained, and you know, you'll get it done. So, so talk about the process in which you had volunteers. You had a few volunteers to help you out, right? Or maybe predominantly Anita, right?
Anita Fernandez. Without her, I could never have gotten anywhere near this far. She's just been intrepid, you know, week after week. Helping me out with any number of things, from audio to cameras to actually wrangling Phoenix.
Phoenix himself, right?
She's just been wonderful, and she's just a fantastic person in general to work with and become a good friend. So I want to give mad props and shout out
Anita.
To Anita.
Actually, speaking of Anita, we've had her on this show before.
Excellent.
She's won the the Volunteer of the Year at CMAC Fest. So,
she very much deserves it.
She very much so. So that's.
But
great.
no, I'm interested in enlarging the crew for future episodes.
Which you're talking about episode 2.
Indeed. Okay. Episode 2 is well into the brainstorming phase, and I'll start in pre-production next week. And we've got some exciting concepts lined up.
Nice.
I will say the Smoke Brothers are going to be causing some trouble for the weather back
The weather,
on Earth.
okay, gotcha.
The weather will be a factor.
And let's, we have some time, a little bit more time here too. Let's delve into more of that, because you kind of gave us the surface explanation of what the concept is and everything's going there. So how would you say the show's segmented? I mean, maybe no spoilers, but how would you, so you implement, you said some education as well as some just kind of fun random segments. How does it kind of
like I say,
out?
we try to work it all into the vehicle of the plot to some extent or another. But in this one, I do a brief little drum lesson, and I'll probably continue to do that. And then we have a quick martial arts lesson, which then we typically we'll try to work whatever we learned into a battle later on. I'm not sure that quite
like it comes full circle,
this time,
right? Yeah.
but
nice.
But no, my friend Yael, who teaches the lesson in episode 1, and will continue hopefully to do it.
So you get some special guests then too.
Indeed,
right? So you got other cast that comes in.
Clark Sumner and Chris Hubble, who played the Smoke Brothers, were amazing.
Nice. I think I missed that shoot that day. I think I also missed the shoot where you had the performer spinning on this.
Allison Gale Force.
Yes, that was really amazing, because I was told that they got the hook right. There's a grid above us, for those of you who don't know, haven't seen our CMAC studios, of holding all the lights, right? And then she came in, and did they put that up there? They put it on a hook, right?
She rigged it up, I believe, herself. And when I first brought it up to everybody, there was
some sweat started, maybe
quite a bit of skepticism. But once she spoke to them and they realized how professional she is with the whole thing.
She knows what she's doing. Huh?
Indeed. So
Nice.
yeah, those turned out really cool, and I have a bunch of footage that I can't even fit into episode 1, but it will be making an
Implemented,
appearance
yeah.
over the
Okay.
course of the season, if you will.
Nice. Yeah, and because with all those graphics too, I'm sure some people may be curious how you did all that. What is the percentage of green screen special effects usage of it? Is it all mostly on the green screen, or some of it?
Green screen is almost constantly in use. I
Gotcha.
made extensive use of the canned virtual sets in the TriCaster, but I did a lot of editing them in the virtual set editor.
Great.
And then let's see, I
Use we have a special floor too.
Yeah,
for
the green
screen.
floor.
So you're pretty much fully submerged and surrounded by this green environment where you can put all the special effects, right?
Yeah, and like the musical guest Despicable Alien segment, we just used Hubble shots behind us, and we didn't actually have a virtual set per se.
Okay.
That's pretty easy to do. Working with the virtual sets themselves is rather challenging in a variety of ways because you really have to keep the camera very still because the illusion is very touchy.
Yes.
So you kind of have to stay right in the right spot or things start to look wonky. So
Yeah, most definitely there is. That's what we tell our members too, is like if you have your green screen set keyed out, you have a space background or something, if you start moving that camera around, that person's going to be all over the yeah.
Right.
But sometimes that may be a desired effect, like
Right.
Maybe Phoenix flying through space or something.
Totally.
Yeah.
And now that I've had the experience of editing all these scenes, I have a lot better idea of what I can get away with shooting, what's going to be easy to edit, what's going to be really difficult to work with later on. So
Yeah.
I think episode 2 is going to be easier to do, and I think it'll be even better.
Right. Well, that's great too, because you lay down the framework of the first episode. You kind of just fill in those segments in with new material, but it's the same type of flow, right?
Totally.
Yeah, and that's something I cannot emphasize enough too, is that once you get a first episode down of a series and you have that, that one trial and error, or maybe no errors if you're lucky.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
definitely wasn't the case in my case.
Right, but you can just start dropping in the new material. You just know how the flow is going to go. It makes editing easier.
Totally.
It makes everything easier down the line. So I'm glad we were able to do that for you.
It's been great. It's been a lot of fun,
That's
and
good.
the adventure is just beginning.
It's
so.
just beginning. And speaking of, I have to ask too, the costumes, amazing. You had the spacesuits, right?
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
did you get those? Were those just like Halloween costumes? or did you-
I ordered them on Amazon. To be
Amazon,
honest.
really? So
Yep.
special spacesuit to costume.
Yeah. It's amazing what you can
And
get.
Phoenix size too. Huh?
Right,
He got his
right.
own.
He's just about to grow out of that one. I'm gonna
wow.
have to trade up, and on down the line, we're gonna be, appearing in different times, different locations.
Okay, some
so
historical lessons maybe?
indeed,
traveling through
yes,
time?
and
Okay.
certainly the planet Bazugulon in the future. So there's a lot of time travel
Oh,
involved.
there you
so
go. Okay.
probably will end up experimenting with some other costumes over time, but those are a pretty good mainstay. I think we'll keep
those are
working with
really
them
nice.
for a while.
I'm a big fan of those, so I hope as
thank
a
you.
fan, and I can't wait to see the episode. By the way, after tonight, it'll be
Thanks.
great.
It should
And,
be out real soon. now.
Okay, and we'll most likely have it on our YouTube page as well.
Very cool.
With your permission. And,
Indeed.
Once also, this would be a good time to plug. Once you've made a program here at CMAC, we can schedule it on local TV. We'll mention that later in the show, some of the channels you can check out as well. So Byron, thank you again for the time you've had.
Thank you
to
for
take out
having
your
me.
day. Yeah, really appreciate it. So looking forward to seeing the first episode and more thereafter. So
Indeed.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Yvonne Schwemmer and Nuria Ibars for promoting CMAC Voices. The prompter wasn't rolling. Now is Yvonne Schwemmer and Nuria Ibars, the co-founders of CMAC Voices. It's a member group. Let's take a look. Welcome back. Wow, that was quite a video there, and I think it really showcased exactly who's involved for one, but really our voice booth. So I'm really excited to talk about this because you guys are really gung-ho about it. I'm glad you are the first users of it. So welcome, Nuria, Yvonne, to the show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. So let's talk about CMAC Voices, because I think this is a concept that a lot of members don't realize they can do. They can group together, band together, and make these subgroups of CMAC members and do some great things. So talk about how this idea sort of formed between you two. Did one of you have it first, or how did that work?
It was Nuria's the real smart one between the two of us.
Nice.
I think it just evolved, yeah?
Just evolved from there.
Yeah, because we had met each other at a mixer. And we were both into voiceover, and we just a couple of months went by, I think, before we actually settled on.
I think it was actually longer than that.
Let's do something. We need to do something.
Yeah.
And then we finally did something.
That's great.
Yeah. We actually even began, and we termed it initially as a meetup group, and then we began that effort before the Whisper booth was even, I think, thought of. So
great.
That was just a great coincidence, and it truly has become the focal point for our group, and because it's something real tangible.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, it was perfect timing. You guys thought of this group, and then we get the Whisper booth coming in. So, and just to explain too, we kind of touched on it a little bit, but the Whisper booth is a contained environment, a booth where it's soundproof, and we can now utilize it for our members, anyone who wants to use it that are members, to record voiceovers. To record, you guys have some other ideas too for usage of it, right? You're talking about even interaction between two people and via some dialogue maybe, right?
Well, the booth is big enough for doing dialogue.
Dialogue and a musician probably.
Yeah.
Maybe two musicians. But
that's what I thought about immediately. I was like, hey, someone could come in here with a guitar, acoustic guitar, and record a track. So, and that's great too. And we even met recently. We had a meeting. You coordinated with staff and met with us, and you talked about some of the wants and perhaps some needs that you foresee the group may need, right?
Yes, we have a very long list. No.
Yes, we've checkmarked some of them already. But
it's just really what we're wanting to do is to, as much as possible, make that a professional recording environment so that people who aspire to be a professional voice talent have some connection with what the real world's like out there, and also, maybe even more importantly, that our members have resources to produce a professional product.
Yes, most definitely, and that's great too, because we promote CMAC as a place where you can come create your own creative content, promote that out there. But when you start supplementing it with professional advice, and those of you who work in the industry have some experience with it, it's just a win-win situation for everyone, because not only are you coming to CMAC to learn video production, you're also learning from people who actually have their hand in the industry and can provide some insight. So what types of things, with that in mind, are you starting to formulate when you start getting the groups together? What types of things are you going to be talking about?
Well, our next one is the 2nd of February at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, all right.
6 to 7:30.
February 2nd.
And we're having a discussion all about animation, voiceover for animation. And we're really looking forward to that. So every month we try to have a different topic of voiceover and a guest speaker who can connect us to that particular topic a little better. So we're using Skype a lot. We want to get into the habit of practicing in the booth before our actual meeting, so that we have practical experience as well as the theoretical.
Yeah, and we have the capabilities of getting Skype on there, and we even talked about we're going to start installing perhaps a monitor up there, right? And maybe even a GoPro in the booth. But yeah, so.
Johnny, can I add? Because one of the things, in addition to the meetings, and I think really Nuria, this is Nuria's brainchild, what we wanted to do is encourage people who are doing projects to use voice talent from our meetup group. And so ultimately doing demos for our members and having a place where our fellow members can go listen to and select, I need a male, young voice,
Yeah, certain age range.
Right. So to have that, again, what a producer would look for in the outside world. They'd go to a casting site to find a talent.
Yeah, and set it up as much as possible like the real world, so that people are used to what the process would be when they become famous
producers. Well,
producers.
it's not totally foreign to them, right? They're like, hey, where do I start? How do I get in touch with someone? Well, you've already kind of started that connection already at CMAC, and I think that's an excellent idea, that you can get a sort of a talent pool, right? And just have us, and then members can come in, and we've even talked about implementing some PSAs or promo spots for shows, right? So I know some members have expressed some interest, like, well, I do a series at CMAC, but I think it needs more promotion. I need that golden voice, if you will, I guess, I'm looking for someone's voice to be like, just, it grabs you, right? And then you can't look away, you can't stop listening. So have you come up with any concepts or worked with any members yet on PSAs? Or?
We haven't yet, but that's another area we can, it's just there's so many elements of our skills that we want to develop and use here, so people can get involved in copywriting, and we've got to have great lessons in scripting here, so that element, and then the actual audio recording, the delivery of the voice. And we want to make sure there's not a lot of people necessarily interested in becoming professional voice talent, but there are a lot of people that need to use voice for their projects. So we can cover that whole spectrum.
That's great too, because also there's some members who have a bunch of footage, whether it's a bunch of B-roll, just supplemental footage for their video. Oh, I went out to this event and I just started recording. And they realize, and they may have done an interview or two, and they're like, okay, but there's something missing here.
What do I do now?
It's just, it's like the interview footage. How do we connect that gap in the video? What can be the driving force for that video? And a lot of time it just requires a voiceover of some sort, right? Talking about the event, what was going on, maybe some experience, or doing something creative even in that respect. So that's excellent. We're really glad to have you guys here to be able to do that. We really appreciate you. So let's bring it back to, we were talking about the Skype interview that's coming up February 2nd at 6 p.m.
Thank you.
And that was going to be someone calling in from where? Who was going to be that guest?
It's Christina Malaysia, who is the founder of Global Voice Acting Academy in Southern California.
Oh, wow. Okay.
She's really collecting a tremendous group of resources and skill sets from top recording engineers, top coaches are all available through this academy. And she is just landed a national spot doing the voice of the laughing cow when that commercial is running all constantly. So she's got a really, like a kid's voice kind of thing. So she's going to be coming in to set us up for the meeting to talk about what the animation segment is like. So
wow, that's excellent.
Yeah, we're really excited about.
It's amazing that someone like that can, they know what we're doing here and they're willing to help us and do that. Have you actually had some training with her? Have you talked to her in that respect? Worked with her? Or
I've done some online work with her. That's where I got to know her. But we have our next meeting after that in March. We have a top recording engineer who is going to be talking about mic placement, we're coming in through Skype.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that's worth mentioning too is that these aren't extra costs for members, right? It's just you're a member of CMAC, you can start attending these types of things. You can start joining groups, you can make groups, you can be a part of CMAC Voice, and we highly encourage you to do that and check us out. So we're just about out of time, guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, John.
Loved all the information you provided us, and I'm looking forward to getting our Whisper Room up and running. It has been running for a while now,
Yeah.
so we're going to have a lot of exciting things coming our way. So
Yeah.
thank
Come
you.
and join us.
Come join us.
Thank you
Yes,
very
please.
much.
Yes.
Thank you, CMAC.
Okay. Well, that wraps it up for today's members only. If you'd like to see more about any of the shows we've talked about today, you can look for them on CMAC's channels, Comcast 93 as well as AT&T Channel 99. If you don't have Comcast Xfinity or AT&T Uverse, you can go to our website at cmac.tv to watch the live stream under the Watch tab. Thanks again to our guests Byron Diel, Nuria Ibars, and Yvonne Schwemmer. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.